Hi, my name is Cody Self. I am in Linguistics 30, and my presentation is on how electronic communication affects language. Before I get started, I would like to define electronic communication. Electronic communication can be any internet-based language, for example, Facebook, instant messaging, email, Twitter, etc. It can also be text messaging through your cell phone. This topic on electronic communication is covered in Chapter 12 of our textbook, The English Language, A Linguistic History. You can find it starting on page 425 through page 429. This section talks about electronic communication and how it is a medium of communication and not necessarily a new language. It is considered a hybrid form of communication because it is able to convey speech and writing. Linguist David Crystal actually praises this as a type of new language only found on the internet. On the other hand, linguists like Crispin Thurlow refer to this language as being nothing more than a trend that the media exploits and deems popular. This section also goes into all the changes you will see during an electronic conversation. Some linguists like Naomi Barron believe that this type of communication will have long-term effects on language. For example, punctuation, a shorter vocabulary, and less subordinate clauses in addition to social implications. Other linguists, like Thurlow, believe this form of communication will never leave the internet and affect modern English. So what are the differences between an electronic conversation and a face-to-face one? Spelling conventions is one of the biggest changes you will see. People online tend to have a habit of deviant spelling, which is spelling words as they sound to us as opposed to the English language spelling. Some of the examples I put on here are the word night, what, why, and you. As you can see, we spell the words as they sound rather than their actual spelling. Abbreviations is another common form of electronic communication. The whole idea is to get your message across quickly and efficiently. So we will shorten words to get our own point across faster as if we were talking to a person. Some of the examples I put on here were today, before, talk to you later is a good one. As you can see, we take 4 words and simplify it into 4 letters to give the point that we just talk faster online just as we would in person. Some more differences are distinctive graphic conventions. The example I put here is using all caps to convey shouting. As you can see, this person said what in all caps and the other person got a little offended and said never mind. Some other forms you'll see are emoticons, which are just facial expressions. You put one of these faces at the end of a conversation and it shows your emotions. As you can see, just by putting one of these faces, you can tell if a person's angry, happy, sad, etc. Lastly, you'll see a difference in punctuation. It's actually very scarce in conversations because it takes up too much time to write and distinguish what's proper. You'd rather just get a run-on sentence with all your information out there because it's very quick and efficient to get your point across. So now I want to talk about an attempt to use electronic communication outside of the internet. In 2006, the New Zealand Qualifications Authority passed a law that allowed their students to use a text language in their final exams. This was a big controversy with schools because teachers and principals believe that text language is lazy and it does not prepare students as language for the future. In the end, the New Zealand Qualifications Authority decided to pass this law because they felt as long as students were able to get their point across correctly, nothing else mattered. And since students can write comfortably electronically, they felt it would make it easier on them. So in conclusion, electronic communication is still an up-and-coming language. So far it's staying online for now. As you can see by that event in New Zealand, there have been attempts at changing the language in society. So I believe our textbook, The English Language, A Linguistic History, was right when they said electronic communication is a new medium form of language. That is the end of my presentation on how electronic communication affects language. Thank you for reading and listening.